it going? So with that as an intro, of course, those that have elk hunted before know that it's one of the most challenging physical things you'll ever do in your life. And that's certainly a heads up for any that desire to elk hunt. You know, it's going to challenge you, and in a good way, though. So something you would definitely want to be prepared for. For those that don't know me, I'm Bob Terwilliger. Currently 66 years of age. I've been hunting since I was about 6 years old. Grew up following my grandfather and my dad around in the Catskills of western New York State. Moved to Colorado about 30 years ago. You know, it was work related, but certainly I saw that as an opportunity to pursue my passion, which is elk hunting. First 14 years I hunted on my own, and for the last 14 years I've been guiding. 9 of those were full-time, guided 7 weeks every fall. Backed off that some in recent times, as it's now time to get back to hunting more myself and enjoying my time with friends and family in the backcountry, but I still do a little bit. In any case, I've had a lot of great help with elk hunting over the years, with some of the best out there, which I'm really thankful. And I certainly don't consider myself an elk hunting guru per se, or a super guide, but I've had my share of success and done some teaching here and there. I've taught some big game guiding segments in outfitter schools, you know, taught at different elk camps and stuff, and been asked to do some podcasts here and there too. And one of the big things that I get asked is, you know, I didn't get started guiding till I was 51. Again, I'm now 66 years of age, and guys look at me and they say, wow, how are you still able to do this and do it at the level that you do it at your age? And, you know, what's your secret? You know, what are the things that you do? We want to be like you when we get to be your age. And that's flattering, certainly, but from my standpoint, I'm trying to continue to live my passion and live the dream as long as possible and preserve my quality of life. And, you know, it's questions like that that really drove me to put together this video and really talk about some of the things that work for me. Maybe they can work for you. I'm not saying that the way I do it is the only way to do it. There's other guys out there like me. But, you know, being I've been asked the question a lot, I thought that this might provide some value to some of you guys, as well as talk about some of the key core exercises that I do to make sure that I can get in the backcountry every year. So with that, let's take a look at some of this. So as appropriately so, I've entitled this video Elk Legs for Life. And that's my that's been my passion and where I've been headed. And you know, let's talk about some of the fundamentals that I see as that are really important in this. Now, the first thing I want to say is that, and some of you guys can relate to this, is that a lot of people will say, well, you're lucky you can still do this. And, you know, I'm not taking full exception with that because there is some luck involved. I mean, I'm lucky that I have good health. I'm lucky that my spouse allows me to go and enjoy my time in the backcountry. You know, I certainly have a lot to be thankful for. But on the other side of this coin, what I want to say is that there is definitely a commitment on your part that it's going to take to do this as time goes on. You know, when we're younger, we can get away with a lot more. And as we age, you know, we're going to find out that we can get away with a lot less. The other thing that we're going to find is, or that you will find, is that, you know, there's things that you may do as a young guy that you don't think, you know, are an issue. And what you'll find is, as you age, they will show up as issues. And, you know, to some degree, I'm an example of that. But in any case, you know, some of the things that are really going to be important for you if you want to keep in the game, you know, as far as elk hunting goes, is you really need to commit to a healthy lifestyle. You know, my exercise program, not that I don't take periodic breaks throughout the year to allow my body to recover, because I do, and particularly after the hunting season, but, you know, I am on a year-round exercise program. I am in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, or, you know, some of those days in the nicer weather, outside hiking, you know, backpacking during summer, fishing months, stuff like that. But I'm active year-round. The other thing that I've done is that over time, I've found that I've needed to refine my diet more. Things that I could eat when I was younger and get away with it and not put on excess unwanted pounds, I can't do that anymore. So I'm a lot more focused on what I take into my body and what I eat. Another biggie that some guys will wrestle with is, we all did this if we played sports, we drank beer at softball tournaments and basketball tournaments and football or whatever, but as you age, alcohol is going to show up on your midsection and also in other parts of your health if you continue to drink at a high level like maybe we did when we partied when we were younger. So, I enjoy a drink at the end of a hard day of exercise, that be skiing or a day in the backcountry, or a glass of wine with my dinner. Certainly I enjoy that. But I don't drink the way that I did when I was younger. Not that I ever had a drinking problem, but, I used to party a lot harder when I was a younger guy. And I put some of that by the wayside, because I am focused on my health as I age. The other thing you're going to find with all the above is that you need to make adjustments as you age. Not only in your diet, in your alcohol consumption, but also in your workout programs. There's things that I used to do as part of my workout programs, and I've been involved in sports my whole life and then got involved in weightlifting as a way to really wean myself off competitive sports. But, there's a lot of exercises I used to do that I don't do anymore because they're high risk for a guy my age. The other thing I've learned is that, you really need to balance being strong with how much stress you put your body into in terms of lifting real heavy weight on a continual basis, because you will compress your joints. And to some degree, I've done that. I've got 2 artificial hips now. I've had operations on both shoulders. They don't slow me down, but, it's definitely a sign that I've lived life. And to some degree, there are areas where I overdid it, and I would do it different if I had the opportunity to do it again. More so for you guys that are, middle-aged and growing. Regular health checkups are important. You want to keep track of your health, see what's going on. These can really help guide you in the things that you should be doing or not doing. And then the last point I want to talk about is that with aging, you will get physical ailments. I guarantee it. We all do. Father Time is undefeated, and he chisels away at you a little bit at a time. So, my recommendation here is that as you have problems surface, perhaps you give them some time to go away, you take some ibuprofen, whatever. But as these things continue to nag you, don't let them linger. Go and get help. Get them assessed by the doctor. Get some kind of treatment plan. Of course, things like surgery, like some of the stuff I've had, is a last resort. But, in today's medical industry, they're pretty darn good at putting us back together. And I'm a prime example of that. Like I said, I've got 2 artificial hips. If you saw me hike in the backcountry, I can still pack heavy loads when I need to. If you saw me ski, you'd never know it. So, you let these things linger. You only make the hill steeper to climb as you go forward and try to get back to 100% health. So there is no doubt about it that physical fitness is absolutely critical to your elk hunt. Whether it's your first elk hunt or you're looking to continue to hunt elk for life, like me, physical fitness is definitely going to play a role. Elk hunting tests you in a way that not many things do in terms of hiking steep terrain in the backcountry, packing elk loads as need be. Even if you have horses and mules, there's times where you can't get, your stock to the down quarters, and you're going to need to put them on your back. With that, when we talk about physical fitness, there's really some key things that I like to preach. First of all is you need to find a routine that meets your schedule and agrees with your body. I'm going to go through some of my core leg exercises with you here in a bit, but, we're all built genetically different sizes and shapes. We all have different ailments, so you may have to make some refinements in finding what works for you. The key is to work the major muscle groups that we're going to talk about when we get into legs. But in general, what I do is I do an all-around body routine, focused on conditioning my entire body from upper body, core, and legs. If you're just starting out, very important that you set realistic goals. This is where a lot of people can go wrong. They start off like gangbusters and try to tackle the world all in one day. They end up getting sore or hurt and they quit. You want to set realistic goals, start easy. Key here is to establish the habit so it's part of your regular lifestyle. If need be, get help. There's lots of great people out there that can help you, either at a gym, even a buddy or whatever. You may want to hire a trainer just to help you get started and outline your routine. But those are things that you're going to need to do if you're serious about doing this, particularly about doing it for the long haul. As I already mentioned, really the key areas that I look to be strong as it relates to elk hunting is, strong legs and a strong core are absolutely essential for what you're going to do. Okay, now we're going to get down to some of the more specifics about what I really do from an exercise standpoint to make sure that I'm ready to go and spend weeks in the backcountry each fall. And first, what I want to say is that over the years, either with hunting with buddies or over the last 14 years guiding, the number one issue I see with inexperienced elk hunters is leg strength and also the ability to recover quickly at altitude and in steep terrain. That is absolutely number one. A big mistake that many will make and think is that long distance steady state cardio is the way I need to train for an elk hunt, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Long distance steady state cardio, in fact, will actually rob you of your muscle mass and wear your body down, including your joints. There's a lot smarter way that we should train from a cardio standpoint, which is known today as high intensity training or HIIT training. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. My favorite way to do it, of course, is put a backpack on and go for a hike, and it doesn't have to be long. Could be something that's 2, 3, 4 miles. Got a little bit of elevation climb, and I'll find myself where I'm pushing different during segments, and then I back off, recover, and then push again. That's really the key philosophy behind high-intensity training. Of course, I realize that, during the wintertime, this is likely not possible, though I do some hiking in snow. I find that works me even harder. I don't have to go as far. But during the winter months, or if you don't have access to areas where you can go for a hike, certainly you can get it done with a stair climber. Put a backpack on, climbing a stair climber, and again, train in intervals. Rowing machine is another great way to get your heart rate up, where you go hard for, say, a minute, back off, go hard again, and even the stationary bike with resistance will get it done. So the key is to really focus your training, this high intensity training, versus just a long, steady cruise. The other thing I'll say is that nothing beats weight training for powerful legs in the backcountry. All things being equal, you give me a guy that's got strong legs in the backcountry, I don't even care how good his cardio is. I'll go easy with him the first couple of days, but I know in the end he's going to come through for me, and he's going to adjust he or she's going to adjust as the week goes on, and strong legs will be a key element in this. So realistically, weights and regular hiking or some kind of HIIT training is what I do to make sure that I'm ready each fall. So now moving down to the next level, let's talk about what are my favorite core exercises for elk legs. Of course, we want to work all the major muscle groups in the legs. Squats is definitely at the top of the food chain for working our quads and glutes. I like deadlifts, and you'll see, and I'll get into this a little bit more, but I use a deadlift bar now at my age. I don't use a traditional straight bar anymore. I don't want to put my back at risk, and the bar that you see me with in the picture, it basically forces you pretty much to have good form, as long as you don't overload the weights. Glute raises. This is one where most guys fail. I applaud the women out there, both that hunt elk as well as work hard on their glutes. You know how important this is to overall leg strength. And I think the good news is many guys are finding this out. You'll find most gyms have machines now that focus on glutes, and I'll show you a couple different ways that I do them, but definitely key to your power and explosiveness for going up steep hills. Lunges are another key one, that we'll take a look at, and there's multiple ways to do these. I do a more conservative lunge at this point where I'm not using weight. I use lunge as more of a burnout at this point at the end of my leg workout. And then glute ham raises is another key one that, of course, it hits the glutes, but it also hits the hamstrings real hard. And hamstrings are equally as important as your quads. In fact, I try to work mine pretty much in balance. So, these are my core exercises. I do add in a few other sets of other stuff, some additional hamstring exercises, and of course some calf work where I'm hitting my calves too. But in a nutshell, these are really the key ones that I do. And let's take a look at these a little bit closer. So first up is squats. And I think any exercise expert is going to tell you that squats, again, are right at the top of the food chain for leg workouts. They hit all your major muscles in the leg. Also, going to emphasize core work as well. Now, you're going to see as I go through the video here that I don't do traditional squats anymore with the bar across my back. And there's a reason for this. I've got some arthritis in my neck, which is another issue I wrestle with. And frankly, my body just won't take that heavy bar across my back anymore. But the good news is, as you'll see in these videos, there's lots of great squat machines out there, to use from. There's the ones that you see me using and the one that my son are using. These are commonly referred to as hack squat machines. And then the last one that you see me doing is a row belt squat machine. And I like this one the best of any I've ever used because it literally takes all the pressure off your back, your hips, believe it or not, and your knees, and allows you to focus on the muscles that you're trying to work. Next up, let's talk about deadlifts. As I already talked about, I don't use a straight bar for these anymore. I find at my age, I feel it puts my back at risk, as well as the fact that I've got a long torso. I really like this deadlift bar or triangle bar, whatever you want to call it. It helps me keep good form and control the weight that much better. And you'll see as I go through these, I'm controlling the weight throughout the exercise, extending at the top. And it's really important that, you don't try to overdo these in the beginning in terms of the amount of weight you're losing or using because you don't want to hurt your back. So use a weight that you can control and gradually increase weight over time. Okay, now let's talk about glutes. Glutes, as I mentioned earlier, is often an exercise that has been overlooked by most guys. I actually have been guilty of that until I had my first hip replacement. And then I found that my glutes were the thing that I actually had to work the hardest to get my overall leg strength back, particularly for powering up hills in the mountains and whatnot. So let's start out with something that anybody ought to be able to do. All you need is a barbell where you lay a barbell across your waist and you do single leg glute raises, one leg at a time. The key thing here is to really get your heel up underneath your butt. And as you push up, drive off that heel to a full extension, forcing a full contraction on your glute muscle. Hold it for a second and then back down. When I'm doing these, I'm trying to do, a minimum of 8 reps to 10 to 12 reps, and, I do start off with a weight that's lighter to begin, and then I work up, for my last couple sets doing the heaviest weight. Now, the next glute exercise you'll see me using is a machine that I'm fortunate enough to have in our gym. I find that this glute machine is the best that I've ever used. It allows you to use a little bit more weight and drive off both heels at the same time. And I use this one, equally as much as I do the single leg glute extensions. Typically, I tend to alternate each workout, doing one exercise, one workout, and the other one the next workout. The next exercise is the glute hamstring raise. You'll see me doing this on a specific piece of equipment that, again, we're fortunate enough to have in the gym where I work out. If you don't have something like this, then you're going to need to look for some other type of apparatus where you can hook your heels underneath it. One particular place you might look is a lat pull down. It's got a attachment that your knees sit under where you can actually put your knees on the seat pad and hook your feet behind you and do these as well. This is going to be a very challenging exercise to start, and you're going to need to likely extend out and then push yourself back up. But if you just be patient with yourself over time, you can build the strength to do these. Not only do these work your glutes and your hamstrings, but also they emphasize a strong core. So this is a great exercise to add into your routine, along with another hamstring exercise or two, of more tradition, like the hamstring raises that you do sitting down or laying down. Okay, the last exercise I'm going to talk about here today is a lunge. As many are aware, there's many different variations of lunges that you can do. The variation that you see me doing here is similar to walking lunges. I'm not doing them walking here because I needed to be in the camera the whole time and I didn't have somebody to film me, but I do these walking. You see me doing them here with no weight. Sometimes I'll use some weight, but a lot of times I do these at the very end of my exercise routine as a burnout on my legs and to kind of work everything out. You'll see I take nice big long strides and then pop up, and this kind of simulates as I'm taking big strides going up a mountain. I find it definitely helps with that. So lunges of some capacity are something that you definitely want to include in your leg routine. So I've taken you through the things that works for me as far as how I've been able to maintain my elk legs over the years. I'm hopeful that this stuff is going to help you. A few final points I'd like to make. With all of my exercise routines, I always start with a warm-up, whether it's upper body or legs. If I use legs as an example, I'm going to ride the stationary bike for maybe 3 to 5 minutes or do a couple sets, 20 rep air squats, just to get the joints and the muscles warmed up. In terms of the amount of weight to use, for beginners, I would recommend using a weight that you can easily do 15 to 18 reps and control it well. Perhaps start with 2 sets per exercise. As you become more advanced, you're going to drop those reps down, increase the number of sets. I typically do, as somebody that's advanced, I do weight that I can do 8 to 12 quality reps controlling the weight, but I'm working hard, and I'll do 4 sets of 4. The other thing that I tend to do because of my workout style, and again, you need to find something that works for you and meet your schedule, but I tend to work each body part 1 day a week. So I do legs once a week, and I'm talking weightlifting when I do this. As far as hiking goes, when I incorporate that in, I try to get 1 good hike in a week where I can of 3 to 4 miles. I'm not trying to kill it out there. I'm just trying to go out there and get a workout and build my cardio system as well as my legs, using the muscles that I'm going to be using in the backcountry. When I can't do that, I get on the cardio machines a couple times a week. 15 minutes, 20 minutes max is plenty. Again, I don't want to overdo it on this kind of stuff. Another point I'd like to make is that for elk hunts, you don't need to be a world-class athlete. You really don't. But there is a case to be made that the better shape you are in, the more you're going to enjoy your hunt, the harder you're going to be able to hunt, the longer you're going to be able to hunt, and thereby increase your chances for success. Again, I'm hopeful that this video provides some valuable input for your elk hunts, either coming up this fall, as well as your strategy for maintaining elk legs for a lifetime. Certainly, there's no magic here. It just requires a commitment to the lifestyle, and you can do it. Final point, if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, please feel free to add them. I'll be glad to help you how I can. I'm here for you. I enjoy sharing what I know and what's been shared with me. And best of luck this fall, and best of luck with putting your plan in place to keep elk legs for a lifetime. Take care.